done 67, I didn't even know that. I think after a point, you just lose count as, what number film it is.
Okay,
so
let
it's
me
difficult.
rephrase it. Which is the film you've seen most, your own film? Maximum rewatches or...
Oh God, I don't know. Maybe it would be, I think, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum. I think just as half the world has, I think I'm pretty much a fan of that film as well because, I love the idea of family, tradition, just that warmth. It gives you that warm feeling. I think that's what everyone kind of loves. And that's why it's, I think, one of the most loved films also.
I think, Kareena, you must also be given credit for giving us a prototype of a Hindi film heroine that we keep seeing versions of. So you played Geet and you were Pooh, and after that there are these so many characters in different films, even now with varying percentages of the Geet quotient and the Pooh quotient. What do you make of it today with your experience and the benefit of hindsight when you rewatch, say, a Pooh or a Jab We Met? Did you ever imagine that it's going to be such an integral part of popular culture?
Not at all. I think when we were doing Pooh, at least, I was following just Karan's instructions. I knew it was like a super fun character, but no one really thought that, 25 years later, you'll still have characters based around Pooh who are like her, that was never really the intention, because I think when you set out with an intention of saying that we have to make this character great, or this has to be amazing, it's going to be fab, and think that, I think it just happens. It just has to happen. You never really know when you're creating it. And with Geet it was the same thing, because I was shooting Tashan simultaneously. And Tashan was like a really big film because it had Akshay Kumar, it had Anil Ji, it had Saif Ali Khan, and it was a YRF film. Whereas Jab We Met was like, it was more like, it was like we were new, and Imtiaz had done one film, and there were never really any big names attached to it at that point. So I was always like, I'm like, Tashan is going to be amazing, and I'm working on this body and going to do my action film, and I would just come on the set, but my focus was Tashan. But I didn't really know that what was happening, and then Jab We Met just released, and not that Tashan isn't special, but people just love Jab We Met more than that. So when you think that, everyone's going to watch this, but everyone watched that. So there was no real plan that, it's going to be amazing. I was also a bit like, no one really thought that. So it just happens. I think magic should just, happen. It can't be planned. We say it can be created, but it's just...
Listen, I completely get you, because another thing that wasn't planned and it happened and it felt like magic was the whole Sananana trend.
Yeah.
Suddenly
again
song
after
from
18, 20 years.
And we were all waiting for you to probably do that reel or trend. What did you make of it? Were you surprised?
No, I was just like, oh God. But though, I think it truly is an iconic song because of the way Santosh shot it. There was something very raw but yet sexy about it, and everyone wanted to see it was like this quintessential heroine who was the classic under the waterfall and being fun, and people connected to that energy, I feel, somehow. And I'm so happy that Ashoka's part of the re-release list, because it truly is one of my most favorite movies, because I was like, I think 20, and it was obviously my first actual film which I did with Shah Rukh, because in K3G I was an opposite Shah Rukh. So for me, Ashoka will have amazing memories, and I think the music, look at it, like you said, the trend. So I think people are going to come to the theatre and going to watch it, because the music from Raat Ka Nasha to Sansarana, it was all just, it was so ahead of its time, I think.
Super. A lot of filmmakers that you have worked with, your co-stars, have on record said that, listen, Kareena is spontaneous. Like the camera's on and she's another person and you don't know where that's coming from. I know you cannot ask a magician, कि बताओ भाई अपने tricks. But honestly, I mean, you of course have it in your genes. That's no surprise. But what do you do, especially with your dialogues and your delivery? Because you almost make it your own in a way that today we find it so hard to believe that you're not Pooh or that you are not Geet. How is that possible?
I know I think half the decade went where people thought I was Pooh, and like I lived like her and had all these couture clothes and thought that I was so cool and went on, whatever, okay, that's Bebo. And then the other half of the decade went on with people, believing like I'm the Bhatinda ki Sikhni.
You never
But
stop talking.
yeah, I never stopped talking. But maybe I'm a mix of both, people who know me. But I think it's not about that. It's about that like I said, that I'm so passionate about acting, and also have to credit so many of my directors and the actors who've been so amazing in so many movies, like whether it was Omkara, also what that's playing at the festival now. I think like Saif was just out of this world, and I had a trial and I called. It's just an instance, like I called everybody. Like I said, it's such a good performance, so I'm gonna call all the directors. From like Mani Ratnam to everybody, all the directors. I'm going to have this trial and call all the directors because I think I've done really well in this movie. So I had this trial in Film City and everybody was there, and of course Vishal and Coco and Vivek and everyone were there, and Saif was also there. And I was like excited that they're going to watch me as Desdemona, because Dolly Mishra is like, she was one of the most, actually Shakespeare never really wrote too many female characters, so it was like such a special character. So I called all the directors and made them sit and said, okay, now this is it. And in an interval, everyone came out and was like, yeah, really nice, really nice. We loved everyone, and like Saif was amazing. And then the movie ended, and everyone was like, you were fab, but where's Saif? Where's Saif? Where's Saif? And I was like, what has happened? I called everybody to praise me, and then suddenly everyone just flocked to Saif and was praising him. But so I have to credit a lot of my films and actors bounce off each other's energy. So I think great films like Omkara or Jab We Met, we've always bounced off each other's energy. Whether it was Amir in Three Idiots also. So famous scenes, you need to take from them as well. So I also want to take this opportunity to thank all my actors, in all these wonderful films, whether all of them, because it's just, without them, none of these films, whether it was Omkara, Jab We Met, any of them that's playing Ashoka would not be what it was without them.
Oh, lovely. Since you thanked your co-stars, any plans of coming back with Saif on screen?
Hopefully soon. I would love to work with him. Right now he's like also going to taste blood because he's coming for the first time in a Telugu film that's releasing next week. So I think that people are really excited. So I would love to do something with him soon, hopefully.
Lovely. Niharika, Kareena spoke about how sometimes you just don't know what becomes a trend, and suddenly the whole world is talking about it. It's at least that's the kind of. Also, have been part of films that clearly center around the male character, the hero, and you've held your own. I just want to understand what you thought while saying yes to those projects, because if you wanted, you could have said, why should I take the step back? I mean, the story should revolve around me, and I want to headline projects.
I think in 25 years, one has to think of when you're signing films when we were younger, when we were like 17, 18. It was always about proving yourself, wanting to, just be in every film. And then after a decade, if you sustain, it's also about the question of reinvention, which is very scary in an industry like this, like male dominated and whatever. But we've, over the years, had a lot of brave actresses as well, apart from me, who've also taken big strides. So, while straddling the fact that I've done films with the big superstars and, all those are successful films, but I've also had a career which I've simultaneously done to prove myself as an actor. Because I think the longevity of an actor is only possible if they also repeatedly prove their talent. Apart from the X factor, that I feel an actor needs to have. And that I believe, I don't know how it is, but I mean, I like to say, you either have it or you don't. And that's just the truth of the way it is. X factor combined with talent is going to take you. And of course, 30% of luck.
Yeah.
Luck is also important. But I feel more than that, it's just, it's straddling the fact. And for me, it's always been every 5 years, I've always looked back and said, now what am I supposed to do? To try and do something new. Because it's not about just being there and being part of the successful films. It's about having and leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
And that's what's been, because I do come from a family where I've been challenged and always felt like they're so amazing, but I need to leave my mark somewhere. तो ये longevity नहीं होती अगर वो सोच नहीं होता that कि ये करना है, कैसे करना है, how else am I going to last? Otherwise then there would every 10 years there's somebody new. But so sustaining it is the main thing. And for me that is why I have to have choices of Buckingham Murder at the same time of Singham, at the same time of Crew, or a film like Jaane Ja on the streaming platform, which I feel that if it would have come in the theatres would have been fab. Which I don't know, I hope it comes. I don't know what the deal is if we can, since it was a streaming film. Because I feel it did so well for the streaming platform, it could have done well in the cinema.
You need to have the streaming guys also sitting. They control the rest.
Exactly. So I think that just you have to try and do different things.
Yeah. Guys, I'm having, like she said, 30% luck. Today I have the 100% luck because I'm of course moderating this conversation, but I'd like to open it up to all of you. Do we have questions from my friends?